Good evening. Good evening, sir. Very happy New Year. Happy New Year. Do you have any clue why you are here?
Yes.
And what is it? Because I'm clueless.
Yes.
So you got to tell me why you are here.
To listen to.
Oh, seriously? I'm going to sing a song for you. A lullaby would be fine. Come over. Adjust wherever you could. Yeah? First benchers. I know this was not your choice, but you are still in the first bench, so. You have no clue. Great. Great. No clue. Seriously? I need one. Exam idea. So which are the exams? What are the exams that you're going to write now? NID and NIFT. So NID is round the corner. Great. That's on 6th. So how many of you have taken how many mock tests? There's something called as mock test, right? Great. So how many of you have taken that? So how many of you have taken around 5 mock tests of NID till date? Quite some. 4. 3. Are you not counting yourself anywhere?
I'm not bad.
You're not for NID. Okay. And 1, like, just 1. Binary digit. And the next binary digit 0? None. Okay. So at least 1. Oh, okay. There is an audience with 0. What? So you plan to take the first mock test on 6th?
Oh, Uncle, I had different kind of exams. So
Okay. Doesn't contain a negative marking, right? So that comes as a blessing. So then I asked, do you know a strategy of how to attempt an exam which does not contain a negative marking? And thus got me the answer that most of you don't, right? Every exam has a strategy, and every exam can be cracked only based on a strategy, irrespective of the knowledge. The knowledge you have developed over the past period of time that you have done till date, but then now the next step is only the strategy part, right? So I was going through the mock tests of NID exam papers, and I realized that you are blessed in one way, that maths is very less. Yeah? So most of you hate maths. That's seen in your face. So, and I can make out, right? Yeah, because 4 o'clock means 3:45, 3:30. Some people have come well before time, some people are coming after time, right? So maths is nowhere near to you. But then I'm also assuming that those who are writing NID will end up writing NIFT too, right? So NIFT has probably a good number of maths compared to an NID and the other exams too, right? So what I thought is I'll spend some time with you to make you understand like what should be the next 5 days course of yours, starting from today, right? And on the day of the exam, what are you supposed to do? Clear? So when you look at an exam, so if I look at an NID pattern, right? Might be disturbing you here. Can I borrow your space? Thank you. So what's the pattern for this exam? How many questions? 67 questions, right? Okay. And that's for 100 marks. So how is your 70 marks distributed? So there are first 24 questions which contains half a mark, right? Then from 25 onwards till 47, if I'm not wrong, there are questions which contains 1 mark. Correct me if I'm not wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, because it's the first time I'm writing it NID pattern out here. Okay. 48 and 49, Yeah, 48 to 49 is a 1.5 marks, right? 50 to 62, correct? And that's 2 marks. And 63, 64 is a 3 mark. Clear? Now the first concept here, people, I have an idea saying that let me start picking those questions which contains maximum marks. Dimag kya bolta hai, right? This is 1.5, which means if I do 1 question here, it is equivalent of doing 3 questions from this. Then this is 3 marks. If I do 1 question from here, it's equivalent of doing 6 questions from this. So ideally, my logic says that if I do the tougher questions, it's easy for me, right? But understand this, that these marks is only created to differentiate the toughness level, but the reality is that the questions are not tough. Okay? If you find question 63, 64 to be tough, you will also find question 1 to 24 to be tough, and the vice versa. So your attempt of these questions should not be based on the marks allotted, but should be based on the questions given. Right? Now let's understand what are the kinds of questions you get in an, I'm talking about NID, right? Maybe this Sunday I may come down and talk about NIFT. No, Sunday is an exam. So maybe after Sunday, one day we'll come and talk about NIFT specific. Now let's understand what am I talking here. So we have questions from what all areas? Quants, maybe 2 to 3, right? Then logical reasoning, right? That's analytical reasoning. Then analytical reasoning, and also you have visual reasoning where you have diagrams and you need to figure out the next pattern. Then you have verbal, which contains reading comprehension, which contains parajumbles, and I have not seen questions on grammar as such. So it's a reading RC or a PJ that we are talking about. And then comes the biggest task, which is the general awareness or the general knowledge. Clear with this? And you also have a 30 marks separate 3 questions, 15, 10 and 5. Clear? So how have you been taking these mock tests ideally? So you open the test, you start from the question number 1 and keep going. Is that the way, or anyone has done any other format of test? First come, first serve? GK first? Okay. Have you ever kept any kind of a symbol to identify? Any symbol that can identify a question? No? Right. Ideally, what I would... So, I'm going to ask a lot of questions here, okay? Because I'm not going to tell you one secret. I'm not a secret Santa who will come and tell you one kind of a hint and you can crack this exam. I'm going to ask you a lot of questions here. So, please be free to interact. Usually, how long it has taken for you to read a question? Understand? Read a question. Not to understand, not to solve, not to start solving, not doing anything else, but to read a question. So to read a question, how long it has taken you? Yeah? So around 5 seconds on an average, everyone? Yeah. So in a minute, how many questions ideally can I read? So when I'm reading, the only task I'm doing is identifying the category of this question. Is this question coming from GK, math, logic, verbal? That's all I'm doing. I'm not even identifying whether I can do this question or I cannot do this question, right? I'm just identifying the area from which this comes. Can I do a segregation of around 10 questions in a minute? Can I read 10 questions in a minute? Yes? So for 64 questions, how many minutes do I need? 6 to 7 minutes? What is your time period for this exam? 3 hours. Okay. So 6 to 7 minutes is what I need to read the entire paper. Great. The last 3 questions that we are talking about, the 30... 2.5 hours? क्यों बाकी आधा घंटा क्या होता है? Okay, so yours is 2.5 hours, is it? Right, then. So these 33 questions in the last, the 30 marks questions, how long typically have you taken to solve them? 1 hour for 3 questions. 1.5 hours for 3 questions. 2 hours for 3 questions. Okay. Now, if your paper is for 2.5 hours and you have 64 questions coming here, typically what is the cutoff of all of your general category students? Right. So, what has been the cutoff of NIDs for general category students? Last year was 63 point something, right? Which means ideally I am talking about 60 to 65. Okay? Which directly implies that I cannot get all of them from here. I have to get a majority from here. Done? So, what you can basically do is, when you have a 2.5 hours paper, keep 1.5 hours for your last 30 marks. Okay? And keep 1 hour for your first 70 marks. Done? Split this. Split this at the beginning. Have you ever tried starting from the last 30 marks and then coming here?
Yes.
You have done that, right? And have you ever realized that when you come here by the end, you do not have time? Your time's over and you're not done reading all the questions. Which is the worst thing, because once after the exam, when you see the paper, you realize there are lots of easy questions which you have left. Right? So it's important for us to distribute the time. Okay? So keep 1.5 hours for 30 marks and keep 1 hour for 70 marks. Now the first thing you're going to do in this 70 marks is scan all the questions and write a symbol for all GK questions. Okay? Ideally, we suggest everyone to start with the GK. The reason? The reason is very simple. You either know the answer or you don't know the answer. Unlike logical reasoning, maths and verbal, you cannot sit and identify an answer there. Either you know or you don't know. That's it. You cannot create one. Which implies that solving one GK questions ideally takes around 6 to 10 seconds. Cannot take more than that. Okay? So mark all GK, finish all GK first. Finish all GK first. Okay? Now, irrespective of your strength, people would say you to begin the exam with your strength. Right? Irrespective of your strength, begin your exam with GK and finish it off. Because once done, it's done and dusted. You do not have to come back. There's nothing you are going to discover there. Done? Typical. Now, why we also ask people to start with GK? All these exams test not only your knowledge, but also your psychological pressure. Understanding that I have 1 hour for 70 questions, it is like 60 minutes and 70 questions. Now let's assume that I love maths, so let's assume that I start with maths. Okay? But let's assume that I'm okay in maths, I'm good in maths, not that great, and I start in maths, and after that end of 10 minutes, I have done 3 questions. What does the pattern look like? 60 minutes, 70 questions, 50 minutes, 67 questions. Doesn't look great. But then visual reasoning is one thing which will consume a lot of time of yours. And thus, by the end of it, you are not sure whether you got the right answer or not. Okay, so that should be the last part which you are going to attempt after doing all of them. How many questions in visual reasoning? Typically? Maximum? Maximum 5 questions. Right? But for these 5 questions, you end up spending around 15 minutes. Not worth the time. Okay? That 15 minutes can be put for something else. Or you can always come back later. There is no harm in coming back later. So I'm not discarding it from the paper itself. I'm keeping it in the end. So visual reasoning is one part which will be in the end. Now comes to the next challenging one. RC. Most of your RCs are data-based questions. What does data-based question? When you read the question, you realize that they are asking you certain meanings of a word or a sentence within the RC. Right? So, there is no need for me to read the entire RC to solve the question. I can actually go do the backwards. Read the question, go back to RC, pick the line from where the question has been taken, just read that paragraph. I understand what they are talking about. So there's like words like, what does this author imply with this usage of this word, right? Or what does this line mean in this particular passage? So for that, I don't have to read the entire passage. When do I have to read the passage? When I have questions which are based on inference. What does the author infer from this particular topic, right? What can be the topic for this particular passage? Title for this passage. In that case, I need to read the entire passage. So a quick glance onto the question will make you realize whether you want to read the passage completely or you can skip reading the passage. Which again talks about whether you want to invest the time or save time. Very important here. Don't directly jump into reading passages. Okay? Because you have been taking, where have you been taking mock tests? At home? Here? Right. Have you come across idiots while taking mock tests? No? Yes?
Like in creative ability.
No. My question is, have you come across, while taking mock tests, have you come across idiots in your room? Idiots in your room? No? You will come across them a lot on the 6th. A lot. Because when you're sitting in a classroom with 60 students, you will not be reading an RC as highly concentrated as you would be reading here. Because someone else is doing something else. He's not reading RC for you. He may be busy in drawing, he may be busy in doing something else. Everyone has a typical way of reacting. Right? And the biggest person who's going to distract you completely there is the invigilator. Right? In middle of your RC, and they know when you're reading RC, I do not know why, but that's what my experience has always been, that in the middle of the reading comprehension, they'll come with their hall ticket now. Sign this, right? And you do that, and you miss out everything. And what are you going to do? Read the RC again, because you cannot scold the invigilator anyway. So you got to read the RC again. Right? Unfortunately, RC is one passage which I cannot keep it in the last also, because my concentration level for 2.5 hours is quite difficult to maintain. And RC requires a high concentration, and I cannot keep it in the beginning too. So it has to be somewhere in between, right? And I have to play it in such a way that I'm not distracted. I have done significantly well in the previous set of questions that whatever I have done, for my confidence to be the same. If I have not done well, my confidence level drops a lot. This is an OMR sheet marking, right? The worst thing that's going to distract you, the marking that others do. So you are more interested in saying कि उसने कितने questions mark किए हैं versus मैंने कितने किए हैं. And that's the biggest distraction. I cannot say that to avoid that, because as a human you cannot. Okay, you will not be able to avoid. It's like taking extra sheets in test exams, man. You can't avoid looking at those guys who are taking extra sheet when you're trying to realize where the extra sheet is coming from, right? Or why is it coming from? So you cannot distract that. That will happen. But you got to analyze where you're going to place this set of RC especially. So the question, the selection of RC will completely depend on whether I'm talking about an inference-based question or whether I'm talking about a database questions. Database, pick at any point of time. Inference level, pick ideally in between, when your confidence level is good. Not in the end. Never in the end. Then, parajumbles. Parajumble typically should give you 100% accuracy, because they are pretty straightforward and simple. The best way of solving a parajumble is read the paragraphs by closing your answer options. Okay, don't keep your answer options open. Close your answer options, read the paragraph. Once you have read the jumbled paras, form a set of, sequence of the paragraph all by yourself. Form the sequence and then look at for that answer. If you start forming the sequence based on the answer option, every answer option will seem to be right. Unless and until the parajumbles are so unique that definitely this is not going to happen. Right, so you got to identify the starting, the ending of the sentence. So you create one sequence and then search for the answer on that. Okay. What else? So that's parajumbles, that's reading comprehension. We have done with GK. GK is pretty straightforward. Maths, 2 to 3 questions, not much to worry about. Right, so don't spend a lot of time worrying about maths. Clear? The pattern that I have seen, sorry? So that will become under logical reasoning. No? So don't worry much about maths. The common question that I have seen in maths is averages. Right? So average is a very common question and probably one of the most easiest questions you can ever get. Okay? So I'll basically teach you how you typically solve an average question, right? It's a very straightforward question. You have lots of formulas, formulas of averages. How do you find average sum of all? You add the number of observations. But let's look averages in a different manner altogether. Okay. So let me throw a question. I do not know whether you come down. I mean, you have done this kind of a question, but let's say that there is a cricketer, Sachin, who has scored in 99 innings, average of 93. Okay, in 99 innings, he has scored an average of 93. How much should he score in the 100th inning so that his average becomes 99? Question understood? All of you? Right? So, there is Sachin who scored on an average, his average is 93 for 99 innings. How much should he score in the 100th inning for his average to be 99? So, this is the question. Now, you know the method of solving. You know that let the sum of his score for 99 innings be n. So, sum of n divided by 99 is his average, which is 93. Right? So, my total is nothing but 99 into 93. Now, I am saying that you are giving me a 100th inning. So, let's say x runs he scores in the 100th inning, and that divided by 100 is his new average, which is 99. And I solve this, I get the value of x. A pretty straightforward part. But let's understand it this way. Let's say there are 99 students in this class. Okay? Each one of you have 93 chocolates. I put it in this way. Okay? Each one of you have 93 chocolates. Now, I am the 100th guy, and I am now coming to class, and I have to make each one of us have 99 chocolates. That's what it means. Correct? You are 99 students sitting here, each one of you having 93 chocolates. I am the 100th guy coming in, and now each one of us should have 99 chocolates, right? Now, you guys have 93. To make it 99, I have to give you 6 more. Yeah? So, 6 more I have to give for 99 people, which is 594 chocolates I have to give you. Each one 6 chocolates. 6 into 99 is nothing but 6 into 100, 600 minus 6 into 1. 600 minus 6 is 594, right? So, 594 chocolates I have to give you. And I also should have 99 chocolates. So, 594 plus 99 is how much? 693. And that's the number of chocolates that I should come in. So, which means that is the score that Sachin has to score in the 100th inning. Understood? So, when you start learning every topic in the way you can understand, it becomes easier. So, formula is there. They will never go. But they are not the very good method of learning, because they are not something that will be retained by everyone. Okay. So, on math side, I would ideally suggest is, because there are only 2 to 3 questions for NID coming up, don't spend much of a time. But then yes, when it comes to NIFT, I think you should spend at least half an hour to 1 hour every day only on maths. That's going to be your make or break. Because please understand this, for every exam, it is not just the exam, it is the competition also that you should know. So let's put it in this way. Who are the people who are going to write NID exams? You are. Apart from you, everyone who has a similar kind of a background that you guys have. Yeah? Great. Which means they are new to GK. Yeah? GK of only that person is better who has a very good reading habit. Right? Reading non-fictional. Done? So, a good reading habit. GK. Maths. 99% of the people who are preparing for NID and NIFT hate maths. There's only 1% who likes maths. Okay? Then there are drawing stuffs. All of you have learnt the requirement only now. You didn't study the requirement since childhood, right? In the past 1 year or 2 years, your requirement study has happened on that particular area. So, what is your breaking position, or what kind of an area can you beat someone else? An area which is their weakness, right? So if someone's weakness is maths, you cannot sit on maths saying that that's my weakness too. In that case, you got to make that as your strength. Right? Because if you retain it as a weakness, there's someone else who's going to make that as their strength. Clear with this? So don't be scared of topics which you hate. Start working a lot on it. You'll start enjoying more of it. Okay? Logical reasoning. Ideally, I would again keep it in the end. For one, logical reasoning is fun. Now, marking on your OMR. Usually solve a question, mark the answer. Solve the next question, mark the answer. Finish one page, transfer the answer onto your OMR. Finish one page, transfer your answer onto the OMR. Finish the next page, transfer the answer to the OMR. Don't sit for 10, 10, 10. Don't sit for the entire 70 papers. So there are lots of people who say, let me do all the questions and then transfer once. Don't do that. That can create a disaster in the end. An unknown disaster. Okay? So it's ideal that you finish one paper. You might have done only one question in this paper or in this sheet, or you might have done more than one questions in this sheet. Once you are done with this sheet, transfer the answers and then go to the next. Clear? Now comes the final part, the guesswork. For a guesswork to work, out of 70 marks, you should have done at least 30 marks. Clear? If you are not done, don't do guessing. No point in guessing. ठीक है? लोग बोलेंगे तुक्का लगेगा. तुक्का भी नहीं लगेगा. Okay? मतलब 30 marks नहीं हुआ तो तुक्का भी नहीं लगेगा. तुम्हारा दिन ही खराब जा रहा है types. Done. So, I'm sure all of you will be able to reach that 30 marks out of this 70 marks. Now, once that is done, how will I guess? So many people say that, okay, you solve the first question, now solve the second question. You didn't get the answer, guess immediately. Don't do that. Leave all those questions where you did not get the answer to the end. Okay? Come back. Look at those questions where you have marked the answer. Now, it's very important for you to do two things. One, mark your answer in the question paper. Is marking allowed?
Yeah.
Allowed, no? In the pencil, yeah. So, mark your answers in the question paper and then transfer it. Clear? When you come back, look at your question paper and check which, so there are 4 options. Which option has been marked the maximum? So let's say I have, out of 64 questions, I have solved 30. Okay? And 30 mein, I realize that around 15 to 16 of them are B. Mark the remaining everything B. Don't do A, B, C, D. Why? Now let's understand me as a person who's creating this paper. When I create paper, I know the exact answer of every question. But I have not decided where to place those answers. Right? My decision of where to place the answer comes when I write the first question. First question, I think, chalo answer B mein rakh dete hain. So the first choice that I do in the first question, typically, okay, or the mind that has read or said that this is the place where I'm going to keep my right answer. Maximum number of questions, I'll keep my right answers only in that particular place. Because my mind has already decided the position of this answer. This is not a computer which picks randomly and places it randomly. It doesn't have an algorithm. It's a human mind. It only goes with emotions and psychology, right? So it will decide where to place it. And most of the questions, I will place the answers there. ठीक है? So पहला question, correct answer B में. दूसरा question I will not place in B. Because I know that मैंने पहले में B लिखा है. I want a challenge, no, you. Right? So I will place it in C. Third question, place anywhere else. Fourth question, automatically B में place हो जाएगा वो. क्योंकि दिमाग ने बोला बहुत गलत आंसर्स दे दिया, अभी सही दो. ठीक है? And then the next question I will say, अच्छा, अगर कोई ABCD मार्क कर रहा होगा तो? तो उसको बी करेक्ट हो गया ना, अगले में भी बी में डाल, गलत हो जाएगा. So we start placing answers based on how you will attempt a question or how you will guess. Okay, so when you see that most of the questions have answer options only in B, mark the remaining all guesses for B. Don't do anything else. Mark all in B. Now the comes, what if 50% are in B and the remaining half is in A? What should I do that? Then goes the same way, 50% B mein dalo, agla 50% A mein dalo. Doesn't do anything else there, right? You don't have to use much more intelligence than that. Yeah, the luck depends on pehla A ki pehla dusra B. I mean, that's different. But then that's how the entire paper and especially the guesswork of a paper works. Okay? So start doing that. And once you have guessed, then mark everything. So when you have to guess, you don't have to mark anything in question paper now. Because you know everything you're guessing is B. So take your OMR and B mein mark karte raho. Done? Couple of things you have to remember while marking in the OMR. One is the shade should be full. Doesn't mean that you should sit and beautify it. छोटे मोटे गैप्स चलते हैं, बड़े बड़े गड्ढे नहीं चलेंगे. Okay, small gaps is sufficient enough. I mean, the computer will read it, but the larger ones, only out circumcircle of a oval will not work. I mean, you have to shade it, right? And they ideally, if I do not know about this, but ideally they say HB pencil, right? Yeah, so ensure that you carry an HB pencil. Don't carry anything else. The best HB pencil you can ever dream of is since your childhood the Natraj. Right? Don't carry a pencil. Anyone dare to carry a pencil, take it and keep it near your bench and sit on it. That's what it is meant for them. You got to have a Natraj HB pencil. Don't try to be anything else. Just be very simple there. Very, very simple. Okay? Sharpeners, 2. Erasers, 2. Pencil, 4. Why 2 sharpeners and 2 erasers? Any idea? गिरता बहुत है चीजें. ठीक है, एक गिरेगा ही गिरेगा. And you can't keep searching for it. Okay, I do not know whether they allow you the writing pad.
No, they do.
They do, then writing pad is a must. Is a must. You do not know what center you get. I had, when I was writing these kinds of exams, not NID especially, but the exam called as CAT, if you have heard of, right? I got a center with the old school, which is Joseph's, and I got a bench which was full of holes in it. What am I supposed to mark in an OMR? Right? Rakho to andar chala jaye. And you cannot request for a change of place. You are not allowed to have a change of place ever. Right? बहुत सारे absentees होंगे, खाली जगह होगा, but still you cannot request for a change of place. So it's always better. That's the day when I started telling everyone that please carry a pad. Mandate. Carry a pad. You have to carry hall tickets? Good. Carry 2 hall tickets. किसके लिए? गिरा तो गिरा ना, मेरे को हॉल के अंदर जाने के बाद गिरा या उड़ा, मेरे को क्या फर्क पड़ता है? No. 1 hall ticket. Are you allowed scale?
It's mentioned in the question actually that they have to use scale or not, I guess.
Yeah, they can carry.
They can carry.
They can carry scale. Okay, then fine. Okay. You get geometrical questions? You know what are you supposed to do in today? So I told you 4-5 days plan, right? Go home today and for 10 times draw 30 degrees, 45 degrees, 60 degrees and 90 degrees. Freehand. Use protractor funds. But after that, freehand 30 degrees, 45 degrees, 90 degrees and 60 degrees. Most of the drawing, especially geometrical drawings in these exams, are drawn to scale. So when you see a figure with an angle, by looking at the angle and your experience, you can exactly tell what the angle is. You don't need any theorem to solve anything. Clear with this? No? ठीक है? फ्री हैंड में ड्रॉ किया? अच्छा इतना टेंशन है तो छोड़. फ्री हैंड ड्रॉ करना मालूम है ना? Done? 30, 45, 60, 90. Right? Once you have done that, when you go to the hall, you have the second hall ticket that I asked you to carry. Sit and draw 30, 45, 60, 90. Done? Okay? Whenever you get geometrical figures, they are always drawn to scale. Which means, if I am saying this is 2 centimeter, take your hall ticket and measure 2 centimeters. मार्क कर ले जहां पे भी आता है. ठीक है? ये एग्जैक्टली वही मेजरमेंट होगा. So whatever the measurement comes from here is the right answer. You don't have to sit and find the perimeter, area, length, breadth, height, nothing doing. Use your hall ticket for that. They are giving you everything. You got to use it. Do you understand this? Right? So use. Geometrical figures is what you can use this for. For nothing else you can use. Clear with this, guys? Right. Anything that I missed? GK first ho gaya. Diagram, logic diagram is last, which is your visual reasoning. Okay, that has to be kept last. RC is database, parajumbles, create and then search. Marking both bata diya hai. Guessing strategy also done. Next 5 days, what are you supposed to do? Today you are going to draw. Right? 30, 40, 50, 60. Tomorrow, okay. So now, how do you study GK? Read. You guys have taken mock tests, right? And approximately every mock test has around 30 GK questions. Done? So once I have taken mock test, what do I do after that? So you check your score, right? Second point, GK. You read a question, there are 4 answer options. You know only one answer option is correct. Use your Google to find what the remaining 3 answers belong to. You done that? No. Most of us don't do that. And unfortunately, what happens when we don't do that is, we miss out in gathering information. See, ideally understand this, that I have 30 questions in GK and each question carrying 4 options. 4 options means each option is having some information regarding a GK statement, right? So I am basically with 30 questions able to learn 120 information. But if I do not do that search model for the remaining 3, if I do not become a Google myself, then by the end of 30 questions, I have knowledge only of 30. So it is like a donkey's work because I have to repeat this work again and again. ये बाकी के जो सवाल, बाकी के जो options है वो कहीं ना कहीं आएंगे. Somewhere else, and then I have to do that donkey's work there. Right? So next 3 days, because this is the make or break system for you, GK. Unfortunately, you do not know what can come. You read out and you get everything out of it what you have not read. Right? So you'd never know that. So that's somewhere you have to spend a lot of time. So 1.5 hours every day for the next 4 days, this is a mandate. For you too. NIFT also has GK, right? Yeah, so GK is mandate. Clear? And then go to that area which you have found as a weakest area till date. Any area that you are finding it weak? See, these 30 marks I will not be able to help. Only people sitting there can help. If I start teaching you this 30 marks, you'll definitely fail NID. Definite. No, I can write and give. But anything in this 70, I can try helping you out. So this is what I wanted to tell you guys today. I don't know whether I made sense. I don't know whether I have added some value to you. But I presume that you will try something different today when you're taking a mock test. Today or tomorrow, please take at least 2 mock tests. 6th is your exam. 5th, don't even open a book. Do whatever you want. Simba release हुआ, दूसरी बार देख लो, तीसरी बार देख लो, whatever it is, right? If you want, shift your New Year party to 5th. 5th is a day when you're not going to study. You should not. And the next 4 days is a day when you're not going to study anything new. वो ये टॉपिक नहीं किया, ये टॉपिक कर लेते, कोई फायदा नहीं है. जो 2 साल में नहीं किया, 2 दिन में नहीं होने वाला है. इतना याद रखो. Right? So rather than doing something new, do whatever you're done. Brush it up. That's a better part to do.